Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're doing a review for Grid Legends on Xbox Series X and S. So, the reason why this review is coming so late is because there was a bug with the game when I got it that was really annoying me to the point where I just did not want to play it. See, is what would happen if you would pick the medium. If you would pick like the medium difficulty, then the cars would automatically start to engine brake when you would let off the throttle. So that was kind of annoying, to be completely honest with you. And it was really making it hard for me to want to play this game. So I was tweeting with the developer, and they told me that they are aware of that bug, and the way around it is to just not pick the medium difficulty whatsoever. And to be completely honest with you, I didn't even realize I picked the medium difficulty. So is what I did in order to, because they said they are aware of it. They do have a fix. They have fixed it, but it will not be in the first patch that is coming out for this. It will be in the second patch. I decided to take matters into my own hands and just completely wipe all my save data that I had already had built up on this game. So that was a pretty decent amount of time that I just completely deleted, and I am back in the beginning. So, well, I'm a little bit farther than back in the beginning now. I've actually played a lot. We're trying to check out the drifting right now, as you can see, to see how that is going to be on this game. I have to tell you, I've been playing Grid since the very first Grid on the PlayStation 3. PlayStation 3 is where I actually bought that and played that first. I have been a pretty big fan of Grid all the way up till the last one that came out on last gen consoles. I just really could not get into that game, and I'll be honest with you. Right when I turned this one on and I kind of like saw the visuals kind of look the same as that, I was like, ooh boy, I do not know about this game. What actually ultimately had me decide to keep this game in the first place was the performance and visuals playing it on the Xbox Series S on my 1440p monitor. Now, I was pretty freaking excited about. Dang it! I was pretty happy with it. Like, I was like, wow, this actually looks pretty decent on the Series S. This is actually a really good experience on the Series S. So I decided, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna play with it for a little while and give it a review. And that whole little bug thing that with the auto brake and stuff, that was really making it hard to enjoy the experience. Especially because there are some real world tracks in here. Mount Panorama is one of my favorite, and that's another reason I decided to keep it too. Mount Panorama is one of my favorite tracks to race. That one there gave me such a hard time. Has always given me such a hard time, so I decided one day, I was like, man, I'm going to master this track. And so I started my attempt to start mastering Mount Panorama. And this is where the throttle bug really freaking kicked in on this game for me, was playing that track. Up in the top of the track, you have to be able to have fine throttle control to get through that. Like you need a certain amount of throttle control to get through that without wrecking your car. You really can't be on your brakes, and you really can't just drive through that. So, to make story short, that auto brake was completely screwing that up. So I just kind of quit playing. And like I said, I talked to the developers and finally found a way around that. All right, so let's get on with this review. Sorry about the whole rambling in the beginning of this. what we have now with Grid Legends is a completely new setup. All right, so you have your home, or you can do the story. The story comes with a total of 36 different. I believe it was 36 different. 36 story things that range in difficulty. This is pretty good. Like, I've been just kind of fast forwarding through all the little stuff or whatever. But so far, the story content has been pretty decent. I'm actually okay with that. If you come over to options, as you can see, you will have 120 hertz rate on here. I don't have access to it because I'm using my capture card right now, so I can't do that. But you do have that on 4K TV with Dolby Vision. You do have Dolby Vision support on this game, which is pretty awesome as well, and it does look pretty good. There are plenty of cars in this game to be able to check out. It ranges all the way from the cars they had in the last game. You basically have all of that still. You have a bunch more cars that are available now. These new cars, well, not necessarily new cars, but you have a pretty decent amount of cars that are tuned for drift and everything. So you pretty much have access to everything you want to drive. So, and I mean access to pretty much everything you want to drive, because if you go into Race Creator, this is basically how you can find a time trial. You can do your circuit racing, drift, electric, elimination, head-to-head, multi-class, time attack, and time trial. So you do have access to all of these. So what you do is you just pick one. Say you want to do time attack. Then you come over to class. And then you can go through here and you can pick whatever class you want to be able to pick out of. So say I want to pick the Ferrari Cup. Then I come over here and it's the 430 challenge. We can do any track we want to do. Like I was saying, Mount Panorama is one of my favorites, so we will go ahead and pick that one. And then we can do any condition we want from anywhere. You could do it at night in the snow. Let's try that. That looks fun. 3 laps. You can set up as many drivers as you want. And then you just hit the Y button. And see, as you can see, I don't own this car. So when I click it, I can just say, yeah, I'll loan that car. I want to drive that. This is one of the things that really made me not like the last Grid, because I felt like I had to grind through everything just to unlock cars, and I didn't even know if it was a car I wanted to race. Now you have the option to pick whatever car you want and be able to test drive that. Now, I never in my life thought I would see Mount Panorama in a freaking snowstorm. This is actually pretty freaking cool. To be completely honest, to be able to do this, to be able to play all these tracks and have them in snow or whatever you want, that's pretty cool. That adds a definite level of satisfaction to my experience. So now we're going to see how this looks with this. Now, the handling in this game is extremely arcadey, but it does feel good enough to where you could make yourself feel, I mean, you could definitely learn a little bit. I do not recommend buying this over a sim racer if that's what you're wanting to get better at as a sim, but this is definitely pretty fun. Now, I have played this game with my my wheel setup, and I can tell you that when you first plug that thing in and you play it, the wheel is super heavy. Everything is set to like max. Turn everything down to 50 right out the gate, and then see how that feels for you, and then make minor adjustments from there. I will be doing another video completely talking about wheel settings and setup and everything. As soon as I finally get that all dialed in, I will be doing a video on that to definitely help, you know, people that got wheel support and they want to have a better experience on the wheel, because as it sits, this feels pretty arcadey out of the box with a wheel. And it only, I mean, getting it to where it feels like a sim racing thing is, I'm still trying to work on that. So that's why I'm not doing any of those kind of settings in here. Controller settings, this game feels pretty freaking great on a controller, to be completely honest with you. It is probably the high point of this is probably the pinnacle of racing games with a controller. It feels really good. The animations, the cars, the way they look, the way they feel, it really is a breath of fresh air, especially in the grid for grid games. This is probably the pinnacle of where they're at. The only one that you could really compare, like the first game was pretty dang good. The very first one on the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 was pretty freaking good. There's nothing that can take that away from that. That game is what started my love for Grid. Grid is more in line with a Project Gotham Racer type deal, but now seeing as the guys from Evolution Studios are working on this, it's only gotten more refined and become a much better experience in the driving part than the old grids were. Now, a lot of people will look back and they'll remember those, but then if you really actually went back and played those, you'd be like, oh gosh, oh boy. Yeah, this feels a lot better performance-wise on the Series X and Series X, or Series S and Series X is pretty dang good. I'm actually, this recording is, we're actually playing the Series S version right now. And it's a solid experience. It feels good. It feels fine. I'm not losing any frame rate. It is doing pretty dang well, and that's what I meant. Like when I said, "Wow, it's the Series S version," and this here is the thing that you basically need to be able to coast through that. And you can't do it if your car's engine braking so hard that it's basically stopping you on the track. There's no way to really throttle through that, and that's what really kind of put me back a little bit in terms of being able to review this game. So as it sits, had that never gotten fixed, there was no way I could recommend this game. But now that is fixed, Grid Legends is definitely worth your time and your money on Xbox Series X or Series S. Visual wise, on a 1440p monitor for this right here, it looks amazing. To be completely honest with you, I kind of feel like this looks a little better on the monitor than the Series X version does on a 4K TV. But it still looks really, really good. Now, some visual things on this game that hasn't changed since it definitely could look a little better for a next gen game, but at the same time, it looks pretty dang good for what it is. There are plenty of tracks in here to drive. There are plenty of different racing, setups and combinations. You can upgrade your cars. You can let's do some out of the car driving so you can see the car. The car models look pretty freaking good, actually, to tell you the truth. Like, I've never really had a problem with Codemaster's visuals. I just was expecting, for me, I was expecting, like a Forza Horizon or Forza 7 or a Gran Turismo in the lookers. But to tell you the truth, I did a video yesterday of this one here side by side with Gran Turismo 7, and I'm like, oh gosh, like, this actually does look a little bit better than Gran Turismo 7 in a lot of ways. But Gran Turismo 7 does have a more crisp appeal to it, whereas this here looks a little bit soft sometimes. Other than that, this is 100% a arcade racing game. Like, I would not get this confused with a sim racer whatsoever. I mean, it does have some elements that feel kind of all right, but in my opinion, this is 100% a arcade racer and should be treated as such. So it is fun to play. You can definitely get lost in the gameplay of this game. It is worth your time. It is better than the last game by a leaps and bounds better. Even in the visual department, I was looking at that one. Next to this one, I will be making a video on that. And this one here does look much better than that game does. Oh, dang, I should have put my brakes on a little bit sooner. No, it's just my fault. I can't drive Ferraris. No. But, I mean, like, look at the... you get so much more visual flair out of this than you do, like, just being able to race this in the wintertime. Like, it's fun. I mean, this is in Australia. I don't think that it would snow like this in Australia, to tell you the truth. Like, but it looks great. It plays fine. The visuals look good. The car models look great. The handling feels pretty freaking solid. Yeah, I could definitely recommend this game. I would definitely give this like a 9. 9 point, yeah, like a 9. I'd give this a solid 9. It's definitely a solid 9 for me. It kind of grew on me even more. I'm enjoying my experience with this game a lot more than I thought I was going to be completely honest with you. Now, it does have a social, a lot of multiplayer. Like, it's drop in, drop out multiplayer. Like, you can, if you're playing online and you do any of this race creator stuff, automatically it goes online. You can do a career on top of the other stuff that you are already doing. So you have the story mode, which is a story that's completely all put together for you. That is not to be confused with career mode. Career is like your typical career where you start at the bottom and work your way up to the higher levels, up here to the gauntlet. You know what I mean? Like, you start as a rookie, then you go semi-pro, then you go pro, then you go to the gauntlet. So, in terms of having content, this is packed with content. This has got a lot of content. You will be getting more tracks and cars if you purchase the deluxe edition. Codemasters has been pretty decent about delivering pretty decent content updates, so I don't feel like you'll feel cheated if you do any of that. It will definitely grow over time. Now, I hope they do support this game for a couple of years with meaningful content, to be completely honest with you, because I do like these games. I like playing around with them, and the fact that this one here was definitely a better experience than the last game, it definitely piqued my interest to the point where I will continue to play this. I don't know if I'd play it me personally, I'm not going to play it every day, but I will play it enough to get my money's worth out of it. So I feel pretty good about this. Now, this is an EA / Codemasters game, so this will possibly be in Game Pass or EA Play within the next few months. It's already been out for, gosh, what did it come out on the 25th of last month? So it's almost been a month, or it's been a couple weeks for this so far. I don't know if I would I mean, it's definitely not going to hit Game Pass anytime soon in the next 6 months. So you have to weigh your options. You know, by the time this gets into Game Pass, is it still going to be something that you want, or is it worth waiting for? I definitely think this game is worth picking up. I have no, I have zero regret purchasing this game. But if you're patient enough, you will be able to play this game with your subscription price. If you are already signed up for EA Play or Game Pass Ultimate, you can still participate in a 10-hour trial of this game. You can play this for 10 hours and decide if it's something that you want to pick up. So I would recommend starting there, possibly, if you want. But like I said, I have zero regrets picking this up. I'm pretty satisfied with my purchase. Like I said, I give it a 9. I think it's pretty fun. There's plenty of content in it already as it sits, and it will continue to grow over time. So that's my review for Grid Legends. I hope you like it. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.